Welcome to The Switch, podcasts that are wired to online and offline marketing.
Marc's on the phone.
Thanks, Marc. They're all laughing at me. Welcome back, guys. We're here with Wahoo Wayno, the fisherman.
Thank you.
We're here with John, the app developer. What are your hobbies? Do you have a hobby? Apart from hacking?
Yeah, nothing too exciting like fishing. I like playing video games and
Any flavor of the month at the moment? Zelda?
yeah, Zelda.
Oh, really?
Zelda's taking up all my time.
Wow, I've heard some good things about that.
It's really good and really impressive, especially on that old hardware. They've done some amazing things. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's Marc. We got Marc, the SEO guru.
Also just hacking as a side hobby.
And kombucha. You make your own kombucha.
Oh yeah, kombucha, that's right.
Cool.
And sharing kombucha, that's the real.
Yeah, yeah.
Seeing somebody else enjoy it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, it's very, very cool. One question. What would your dream AI app be? What would you want your own AI, your own personal AI? What task would you want it to do for you? Anyone?
Yeah, okay. I know. Because, when you go fishing out on the boat in the middle of the ocean and, you don't always know the terrain, you don't know the spots.
Yeah.
You see people coming in and posting photos of amazing fish and you go, where's that guy fishing? You're looking in the background, you're trying to find landmarks. Where are they off? Are they off, this island, or are they here? Or it would be really cool if you could just plug some information in and it spits back exactly where they're catching them.
Wow.
Coordinates, what they're using, what kind of gear they're using, what kind of bait they're using. You just go straight there and your fish are on and you bag out and you're back in again.
That's cool.
That would be really cool.
That's a cool app.
Yeah.
That's a cool app.
Cool.
Yeah.
John?
I'm not sure. I think the thing I would really love AI to be able to do is just take all the mundane stuff out of life, which you don't want to do, like cleaning the house.
Oh, yeah, but they do that already. I've got a RoboVac.
Yeah, but you have to empty the RoboVac and you have to manage
Wow.
it. But there's a whole lot of, I just want to be able to go I never have to think about
you want to go
running the house.
Walk into and press the button on the wall that says clean house now.
Yeah.
And just go and sit down.
What didn't the Jetsons have that robot?
Yeah,
I just
did.
want that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's really interesting. So being super lazy.
Yeah. Oh, no, not super lazy. I just want to be able to focus on the things I want to do.
Yeah, he wants to get rid of the menial tasks.
I want to make the software. I don't want to vacuum the floor.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool. Yeah.
Probably along the same lines that I'd have something that in the business gets rid of the menial tasks and that achieves perfect communication. In all of our businesses, communication is so key. And the failure points are usually in the communication. So maybe we would call it a communication helper that kind of notices, hey, this guy is thinking about something different than what you're thinking about here, and what you're designing right now actually doesn't match his brief or his mindset. So something that aligns us better as humans to be able to communicate with each other better.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, really interesting. I did touch on the dream stuff before. I mean, I don't know if we'll ever get to the point where we could actually interpret dreams, but that would be interesting. But I'm a bit of a sports person. I love my water sports and I love my snowboarding, and having an app to analyze and learn how I snowboard and how I wing foil.
Yeah.
And then telling me what I'm doing wrong. It could be a long conversation.
Yeah.
But
correcting
auto-correcting technique as I'm doing it.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, so I'm winging
Yeah.
And it just
Pull your
tells
left arm down
pull
a
my
bit.
left arm. Yeah, exactly. And right on the fly, because it's learning as I'm going, and I'm learning my technique. Knows my body shape, knows my stance. It's learning on the fly, real time.
Yeah.
No, that would be really, really
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
So some really, really useful app. Okay, so anyone watching this, so you got some four pretty cool ideas there. Make it happen, eh? Keep it real.
I've already got a logo in my head for real time technique.
Oh, really?
It's
Oh,
popped into my
jeez.
head. I'm going, "Oh, that sounds cool."
Awesome. Over to you, Wayne.
All right.
What do you got for us?
All right, so I'd like to pose an ethical scenario here, and I'd love to get the feedback from everyone. And this is probably said a little further in the future, but it concerns a lot about what we've been talking about today. So let's just say you've got an elderly parent in a caring facility, and as part of the onboarding process, you've got a choice that you can make. And one of them is that you can choose a real nurse, a human nurse, to look after and form a relationship with your elderly parent while they're under care. Or you can choose the brand new,
Nurse
A1,
2.0.
yes, Nurse 2.0 robot who knows everything about any kind of medical condition and is trained and programmed to interact with your parent a certain way. My daughter is a registered nurse and she works with some very sick people, so I know the bonds that can form and the expectation on human nurses and also the connection they make as well from an emotional perspective and also with the family and the family members. So I'd like to know, do you choose the human nurse who is fallible but has real human emotion and connection, or the nurse that knows everything but is programmed to make a connection? What do you
Are there
choose?
price differences?
No price difference.
No price difference. Oh, gosh.
Why am I making that decision then? The my elderly relative not?
Basically, you're the carer for that person,
Okay.
and they're going
So they
into
can't
a
make-
care
they can't
facility. They
decide
can't
for
make a
themselves.
decision for themselves.
So let's say they got dementia or something
Yep.
and they can't.
And you've got the choice. What do you choose?
Yeah, it's a hard question because let's say that the AI was perfect and you couldn't tell the difference. What difference would it be to the person doing that? And I might be leaning towards that. Maybe I would, so then they could have the perfect experience and health and care. So it just depends on how that level of what that level of perfect is,
Yeah.
The thing that just popped into my mind is the level of availability. And again, CEO Sam Altman of OpenAI said that in the future we will all have 100 assistants. So you would have one assistant who's looking after your parent, who you can feed indirectly to, one assistant looking after your child, one guy doing the dishes, also being an AI. And the level of availability and time, just sheer time that AI assistant can be there for your elderly parent 24/7 at a very low cost. That's something that
Doesn't
might
get sick.
sway somebody's
Doesn't take time off.
absolutely, yeah.
never gets frustrated, never gets angry.
That's yeah.
He's never hungover. Never has a fight with it. Never has a fight with their spouse in the morning, and then puts them in a bad mood the rest of the day.
See, that's
Transmit
a
COVID.
very, very valid point. That is the amount of time, because certainly with my mum and her dementia, I couldn't see much connection between the nurses that were in and the churn of the nurses in a home like that, where everyone's got some mental issue which is going to stop them from making any sort of connection with a real nurse. And you can see the nurses at the time, and a lot of them were, because my mum was in a home in England, a lot of them were Eastern European, so they weren't English firsthand, and the humans don't actually think for themselves. Like when I went to see her one time, I hadn't seen her for a couple of years because I've been over here in Australia, and I went over, and people with dementia revert to their original language, so she started talking Mandarin, and and I couldn't understand her at all. I don't know Mandarin. I know a bit of Cantonese, but I don't know Mandarin. My dad knows a bit of Mandarin, and my brother spent some time in China, but I had no idea. So I got my phone out, and I said to my brother, "Have you ever tried to translate what my mum's saying?" And went, "No, how do you do that?" And I said, "Well, I brought up Google Translate and got my mum to speak into it, and it actually made sense. So I could actually understand what she was saying, and it was really laboured. She was off on different tangents, but none of the nurses." And I said to the nurse, because the Wi-Fi signal was really bad, I said to the nurses, "Have you ever tried this so you could actually understand?" And they had no idea. They had no idea. So I am actually leaning towards the AI, to be honest, because it would have access to that kind of knowledge and information, and maybe ideas as well, and experience. It's learning from different experiences. So if it got told, let's use Google Translate and it will learn. It will learn a language through its own, maybe ChatGPT. It will go into ChatGPT, learn a language in a day, and then come back the next day and talk fluent Mandarin. I was like, that's pretty, that would be pretty powerful for me and that's the connection that I wanted for my mum, not for the nurse. I want my mum to have a connection with something.
Yeah.
And I think that I'll probably lean on the AI for that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. We're all screwed. They've all just chosen a freaking robot over a human.
Well, to be honest, this might actually be something, when we get closer, it might be something that's important to put into your list of do not resuscitate, I want robots.
Yeah,
after me.
It's a very good question.
Yeah.
It's a very good question.
And it's not something, that's pretty much what I thought would happen. Me personally, I was thinking the same thing as you guys, but if there's one thing I've learned over my considerable time on this planet is that we can't lose love. We can't lose human connection. We can't lose warmth and touch. And once we're in a space where we're replacing that and seeing that as a benefit, I think we're screwed.
Well, I don't know
I
don't know what your experience with dementia is, but there's no love there. There's just distress. It's probably the most soul destroying
my
condition.
daughter works with cancer patients, so
there's a lot of emotion there.
There's a different scenario there.
Yeah,
and so then all of a sudden someone might go, oh well, then it's a little bit different. I feel differently about that.
Yes.
Well, you're in a position where you're transitioning people from life to non-life,
and that's a completely different scenario.
But just by saying
it's the same choice.
It's by saying that and offered the same choice, you're already thinking differently about it.
Yeah.
So it is a scenario-based outcome for a lot of people.
Yeah.
What the situation is as to what I choose.
Yes.
And I think the point in all that is that we still have the right and the ability to choose, and we're not forced and we're not regulated to make a decision that is not our choice.
Yes, that's right.
I'd just like to leave you with that, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, that's a really, really interesting one to finish on, Wayne. Thank you so much for that one. That was really, really cool. But we've come to the end of the show, guys. Fascinating to have you guys on. I'm sure we'll revisit this panel sometime in the near future, I reckon.
We should do this 12 months' time.
12 months' time.
That would be interesting.
Absolutely.
I reckon what we're talking about and what we're saying now, just to see where it's
we watch our episode before we come on and say, oh, why did I say that?
I'll probably have a bionic arm.
But thank you so much for your time, guys. It's been fascinating. Yeah. You guys are super cool at what you do.
Yeah,
and
thanks, guys. So enjoyable.
Good luck with everything. And we'll see you in 12 months' time.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
Cheers, guys.
That was great.
Nice one.